Well, hey there, it's Spramani with Nature of Art, and I want to pop in to talk about a homeschool topic that I think comes up a lot for parents that are starting their journey on teaching art, and that could be in any area, which I call the 5 domains, and you can find that information on some of my books. But I'm going to be talking particularly about painting. So, what I want to talk about is the idea of one-off crafts or one-off painting lessons versus art curriculum or art lessons. Now, I want to tell you the difference. So generally parents get ideas, they'll go onto Pinterest or they'll go into the craft store and they'll find these fun projects and ideas, and they bring them home and set up the paint, set up the activity, and the child does the cute little craft or the painting, and when they're done they have a finished project. Now that's what I call a one-off art lesson or a one-off craft project, where there's no idea to teach something else from that, and there's nothing to build skill sets on over a period of time. And so that's the difference that I want to talk about, is that one-off crafts don't teach art literacy, and they don't give you an opportunity to teach more skill sets. So you want to be thinking about developing a program where your kids are learning multiple steps, like they're learning how to paint, they're learning how to use paints and paintbrushes, they're learning how to set up their painting materials, they're learning how to blend painting, they're learning how to make brush strokes, learning how to make different types of brush strokes like lines and textures, they're learning how to make those lines into shapes like geometric shapes, organic shapes. Those are a lot of skill sets and a lot of practice that children need to practice. Mixing colors, mixing primary colors, mixing secondary colors into tertiary colors. There's a lot of different lessons that we can teach our children, and that is art literacy and an art education. So when you're thinking about how am I going to develop my child's art skills, that's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about teaching multiple things over a period of time. Now, what's the benefit to that? Well, if you spend time teaching your children these types of lessons, they'll be able to independently work on them for themselves, setting things up and work by themselves, and even be able to conjure up ideas from their own imagination or ideas that they want to go into, because they had the practice and the skill sets to use the materials in little segments that you introduce. There's a place for crafts and one-off projects. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's take, for example, you find a cute little project online, like on Pinterest or on Instagram, and there's a cute activity to paint a butterfly. Well, that lesson will have, instructions, a materials list, and steps to develop this butterfly. But by the time you're done with that activity, that's it. It's just, the one-off lesson where it's just to paint a butterfly. And you may not know, well, what do I do next? And what do I teach my child next week? You might find yourself going online to find another project. Well, I want you not to think about lessons like that, one-offs. I want you to think about focusing on an area like painting and teaching your child multiple skill sets in that one area, which I call domains. And domains, you can find the list of different areas I recommend in most of my books and my blogs and some of my videos. So it's always good for you to understand the difference. I know a lot of parents struggle with that. That's how they start off. They go to Pinterest, they go online, they get all these fun ideas, and then at some point they feel like, I don't know what I'm actually teaching. I don't actually know art literacy. And art literacy is, there's a lot of things to learn with art literacy. You're learning how to teach elements and how to teach certain areas of visual arts, and you're teaching them language. So if you want to know more of that, I promise you'll learn all that if you check out some of my blogs and videos and some of my books. So I wanted to just talk solely on that, and I'd love to hear if that's helpful, if you've gotten stuck doing that before, and if you want to learn something new, just let me know. But that's all I wanted to jump on and just talk about. All right, well, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.